So you're thinking about playing your first game of Dungeons & Dragons or a tabletop RPG as the DM or GM. It's going to be fun. Trust me, it can be a blast. It's not for everybody. And truth be told, you're never going to feel like you are ready. If you're one of those kind of people that it's just, I don't want to do it until I'm ready, you're never going to do it. But what can you do to feel ready? Well, we're not going to get into how to prep and things like that today. I just want to get over a few of the things that you need to run a first session, whether it be one shot, whether it be the beginning of a module, or whether it be the beginning of a long campaign homebrew. What do you have to have under your belt to be able to hit the ground running and have a good time? Number one, you have to know the basic rules of the game that you are going to be playing, right? If you're playing, say, 5th edition, well, a character can move, attack, and move. But in Pathfinder, you can move and attack, but then unless you have a feat, you can't move again because you've interrupted your movement and all that stuff. You need to know those general things. The difference between an action and a bonus action, for example, as well. That kind of stuff is on you to an extent. What you don't need to know is every action and bonus action available to your players. There's too many. You don't have to know every spell that your wizard has and how they all work. But when they say, oh, it's this radius, oh, it is this type of cone, oh, it's this DC, give me a reflex saving throw, that kind of thing, that's the stuff you need to know, right? Or dexterity, depending on the game, right? If you have those under your belt, you're probably going to be able to be fine, especially if you played the game before, right? You're going to know the difference between a saving throw and a skill check and all that kind of stuff. But if you don't, do a little bit of reading, right? It's a textbook. You don't have to read the whole Dungeon Master Guide or whichever game you're playing, but know your basic rules. 2 is know your general DCs. You don't have to have, again, everything memorized, but you have to know what is the difference between something that is challenging versus something that is nearly impossible but is still possible. You have to know what those numbers are, because if somebody's like, hey, I want to roll to climb this rope, that shouldn't be an impossible roll unless there's other factors in there, of course. But if you don't know what the DC is, then you have to do some guesswork every time, and you may end up guessing wrong. But if you have, like, say, a little chart in front of you that says, okay, difficult, now I know your DC. Give me a roll. Problem solved. And now it's going to vary from game to game, so I can't give you exact numbers, but the DM guide or GM guide probably can, in terms of what's considered difficult, what's considered easy, what's considered nearly impossible, and everything in between. Just have that chart in front of you, and you'll be set. Number 3 is know the skills and abilities that are in the game. If you don't know the difference between stealth and sleight of hand, you have to comprehend that. You have to split those apart and know, hey, I want to try and do this. Okay, roll me this. That's what you need. And again, just like the other, have it in front of you. Have a blank character sheet in front of you that has all of the different skills and abilities that your players have at their disposal. Now, you don't have to know what their proficiencies are. You don't have to know what they're adding or what they have. I mean, you should know some things like disadvantage and advantage in 5th ed. So you ask for a stealth check and somebody rolls 1 dice and is like, well, aren't you in like plate mail? Oh, shoot, I get disadvantage, right? And that goes back to, know the basic rules, but that should be your player's job to keep track of, truth be told. But as long as you know, generally speaking, the abilities and skills that are available, you can call for rolls a lot quicker than if you're trying to remember all of them, right? And especially in something like Pathfinder, where there's tons of them, having it in front of you can be very, very beneficial. But those are the 3 things that I really think you as a DM need to have locked in, solid, and or in front of you to have a very successful first crack at it. Now, if you are brand spanking new, I would recommend running a one-shot, which is going to be the next video. So, like and subscribe if you want to see that.